Njengamanje, we are in conversation with the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Walaneningizim Africa, Zizi Kodwa. Thank you so much for his cut.
Thank you very much.
We know you're a very busy man. Everyone wants a piece of you at the moment.
You.
But thank you for giving a SABC's Katsi. Perhaps let's just start, just easing into the conversation and talk about how, for this Katsi, Dabandabaning have been feeling with him, Shambe, Ministry of Sport, Arts and Culture, of Fanele. So would you say that coming into this, you're coming in as a new era of hope?
I do acknowledge Mapoloba, having heard many voices outside. The disappointment is palpable, the frustration is palpable, and there's an element of hopelessness. And I think I come into that space. Of course, now we've got to do something with the speed of a hyena and a cheetah,
yes,
to change that, because it's not like government has not done anything. In this position I am now, which I occupy, one of the things that it requires, you must have a passion of your work. And that passion of your work, you must have passion for sport, you must have passion for arts, you must have passion for culture. In other words, the availability of leadership should be non-negotiable. This past weekend, I attended not less than 4 events, just on Saturday. And therefore, you may need somebody with that kind of energy, but beyond just attending events, you've got at least to deal with issues of development. You've got to deal with issues of underdevelopment, where in rural areas there is no sport or rural infrastructure. Yes. Those are the issues you must deal with decisively. You must deal with what I call non-negotiables. In 2023, Mapoloba, we shouldn't be talking about transformation, yes, in any sporting code. It's a non-negotiable. For me, it's a cardinal pillar. We shouldn't be talking in 2023 about equal work, equal pay, yes, for women. Those are non-negotiables. It's a policy of government. Any sporting code that still implement that, it must be dealt with decisively. A non-negotiable is racism in sport. Many of the black excellence you see now in some of our national sporting codes come from very poor, underdeveloped areas with no infrastructure, and yet you see Bavumas in the iconic Wanderers. Yeah. Comes from the township, no cricket facilities. You've got Macandinis. You've got the Arms and the Mampimpis come from the worst areas, and yet they've excelled, represented and carried and flew South African flag in the international platforms. So we must be very intolerant of underdevelopment, which is skewed on the basis of racism and stereotypes. So I come here with passion. I think that working together with everybody like yourself, I think it will help to change the mood in the country. At the moment, Mapoloba, the mood in the country is very negative. We are surrounded by many, if you like, maladies. From load shedding, we are surrounded by GBV, crime, substance abuse. Where is the role of sport in that context? Besides being seen the sport as just for fun, as dance, as song and dance department, there's an economy of sport. We're not talking about it. Most successful countries use sport, drives their tourism. We can do the same. If we can have a national team like Proteas that performs, all our teams, if they can perform to an international level, you could find a lot of people coming to South Africa to see this best team, this best country that produces the best football, the best cricketers, the best rugby players. And I think there's something that we must do. And I don't think the department has been located as part of the economic drivers in the past. And therefore we must begin to shift from just song and dance, just for fun, but there's also excellence, there's development, there's economy of sport, which I think is very important.
And I think, Minister, you touch on a lot of things that are so important. You speak about the economy of sport. You speak about the social cohesion element that sport has. You speak about underdevelopment in certain areas, rural areas. So, ungathi mhlawumbe wena ku list yakho njengoba usungena kule ministry, what is at the top of your list in terms of things that you want to do? And I'm guessing from your answer also, Guti, school sports is going to be something that you're also going to look to focus on.
Interestingly, Mapoloba, the whole day today we're meeting with stakeholders from SASCOC, including the Big Five. All of them, what we emphasize is school sport, because most successful sporting countries, they've got good foundation of school sport. I remember when growing up, we always had an extramural subject of school sport, and that is where you identify this talent.
No, but SABC PE.
Absolutely, we need to go back, because what it does, it takes us away from after classes, from other wrong things. Even on Saturdays, all of these inter-school games takes away young people, because we need something to take away of young people from the streets, from substance abuse, GPV, and many maladies. I spent a day at the iconic Wanderers, and I would imagine that a young person like Temba, growing up in the townships of the Cape Flats, it would have been something else, or Ipara if it was not cricket. I'm just saying, we need to lift up sport to an extent that it can contribute to the kind of society we desire and envisage.
And not just be a by the by.
No.
It can start a little bit of
it must not be like communication when everybody wants to cut budget in government. You see communication and sport, this is where you must cut. This is more than, if you talk about nation building, you must think about sport. The investment in terms of fiscus may be too expensive because of challenges now, but in terms of development in future, you will see the benefits of your investment in sport and arts and culture.
Just in wrapping up, just to say, ukuthi umlayezo wakho ufuna ukunika abantu abahlezi ekhaya njengamanje that are listening to you, because you come in with a lot of enthusiasm, and we're hoping that will translate in terms of action and what will be done. And I want to end this on a lighter note. Would you say, before you give me the message, would you say Minister umuntu vele nje kade uzilandela izinto zemidlalo, and then I'm going to ask you, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates?
Probably now put me on the last question on the sport. Let me just tell you a very interesting story.
Okay.
I'm no longer supporting any of the national teams in the I used to be.
Okay.
And there's history to it. I took my girlfriend many years pre-COVID to what was then called a real derby.
Okay.
To FNB. We lost to, it was Kaizer Chiefs and Paris. Don't ask me whom I supported then.
Okay, good to tell we lost to.
We lost. I left the stadium forgetting that I was with somebody. I think in the 89th minute, I realized that, look, there's something about my health. This thing is going to affect my health. So I left. So I support football.
You support football?
I support football in all the teams, because I realized that I may have a heart attack very soon. If you can forget someone whom you brought to the stadium, you laugh when I tell you this, you won't believe it. I used to be a street boxer, and I say street boxer. Most of my friends, they don't have front teeth, courtesy of Zizi. So I've been following a lot of different sporting codes, but knowing that we grew up in the township, we were confined to specific sporting codes. Growing up in Cape Town, it's either we are confined to rugby, we are confined to cricket, we are confined to soccer or football. It's the nature of, but as we can see now, we're beginning to open up access to different sporting codes.
Yes.
And my responsibility is to make sure that sporting codes, including the sponsorship, does not continue to be an exclusivity of the certain elite.
Yes.
The majority of our people who cannot pay subscriptions must have access to sport. Majority of our people must have watched Masandawana over the weekend. Majority of our people must watch the Netball World Cup, which we're hosting for the first time. And we'll invite you, because we're launching Netball Fridays soon.
Yes.
And I'd like SABC and yourself to be our partner in relation to that. So I've been an ardent friend of sport, because I believe that sport has a role to play, especially what I said earlier, in dealing with some of all our maladies. We've seen what it has done with the hosting of Blue Bulls in Soweto, how it has helped to build social cohesion. Some of the people who went in Soweto for the first time, they were worried that they may come back beheaded. Some of them, they thought that they will never come back when the Blue Bulls went to Orlando Stadium. They did not want to leave Soweto. They slept in the back rooms, they slept in cars. They discovered that suddenly, oh, they are like us.
They are.
Only the sport can do that. And we miss those moments which define our character as human beings, our resilience. So we need to bring back that spirit. We must bring back the spirit of South Africa. We must bring back Philip is here.
We must bring back Philip is here.
Philip is here, and that Philip must remain with us.
We've got that opportunity once again now with the Netball World Cup, which gets underway in July. And I think, Minister, just as we separate now, just your parting shot, is that what it is? Just to allow sports to just uplift us once again.
Allow sport to play its game. This department is not about fun. It's not about song and dance. Let's make sure that we build sport infrastructure in rural communities. Let's make sure we get the best talent. Let's make sure we recognize and acknowledge some of our great achievers. And as we go along, we'll make sure that sport, arts and culture will do exactly that. We need young people to take them off the streets to participate positively to the development of their own country. Mapolobo.
The Minister, of course, of South Africa's Department of Sport, Arts and Culture says we need sport to bring us together as a nation and uplift us. And would say, government, it's all our job. We all need to play our part. So once again, we can say, Philip!
Yes, sir.
Yeah.